Audible, audio that speaks to you wherever you are.
And now it's time to meet the men from the ministry. We present Wilfred Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to that faithful army of public servants who direct our lives and whose function is illustrated by their ancient crest, 2 crossed memos and a bowler hat carrying a can. In these times of uneasy peace, one of the problems a government must face is defense.
What we have to ask ourselves is, does its present arrangement fulfill the complete demands of an early warning system? In fact, let me go further and ask what's the exact purpose of an early warning system?
Well, obviously, it's to tell us of any possible hostile approach in time to take defensive action.
Yes. Now, does this system we've worked out do that?
Yes, I'm sure it does. Any senior official approaching the office will be seen in that mirror we fixed outside your window. That is, if they come up the stairs.
Yes, and anyone coming down the corridor will step on that sugar we sprinkled on the lino. Good. Then we can get on with some golf practice, can't we? Pass my clubs from the map cupboard, would you?
Yes, okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Ah, April, come in.
Actually, it's Mr. Lamb I wanted to see. I've typed those letters ready for you to sign.
Oh, thank you, April, but I asked my secretary to do those.
Well, she passed them to me. She had to go out and get her hair done.
Oh, did she? Well, she didn't ask me. I'll have a little talk with Mildred when she gets back.
I don't think she's coming back today, Mr. Lamb. She said it'd be 4 o'clock by the time she was done, so she thought she'd go straight home.
Oh. I'm afraid Miss Mildred Murphy and I are going to have words. She's been giving herself airs ever since she got picked up by the audience camera in Jukebox Jury. I think she's about due for a large rocket.
Now, too, let's not have any unpleasantness. Pop the ball on the carpet and we can try chipping it into the bottom drawer.
Hello, General Assistance Department, Mr. Hamilton Jones' office.
Is he there?
Oh, yes, he is, Sir Gregory. It's for you, sir. I'm afraid it's Sir Gregory.
Dear me, the one line of attack we didn't think of. Hello, Sir Gregory. Nice to hear from you. How are you?
Look, what's General Assistance Department doing at the moment?
Well, we're keeping the ball rolling, you know.
Are you? Well, I want you to put all other work aside at once. There's an important job come right down from cabinet level.
Oh, dear me.
Tell me, what do you feel about Britain's part in the space race?
Well, we must leave no stone unturned, mustn't we? I mean, no Avenue 1, whatever it is, yes. What exactly is the space race again?
Come along, man. America and Russia have sent men up into outer space.
Oh.
Now people are looking to us. This is where you come in.
Oh, good gracious. Surely. Sir Gregory, isn't it a job for a younger man? I mean, my number 2 here. He'll volunteer, I'm sure.
No. We're not proposing to shoot you off into space.
Oh.
Or anybody else, for that matter. There's no prospect of getting an Englishman up there for a very long time.
Well, in that case, Sir Gregory, I'd be proud to go.
The PM's under fire because Britain hasn't done enough in this space business.
I see.
Well, we can't spare the money to do any extra. But we can give publicity and much more of it to what we are doing.
Oh, very cunning, Sir Gregory.
It's not meant to be cunning, man. It's just common sense.
Oh, yes, very cunning common sense, I see. Quite right, Sir Gregory.
Now, this is your job.
Yes?
For the moment, you will become the Space Information Bureau.
That's interesting.
You'll have to collect and coordinate reports from all our different research centers and send out a weekly bulletin to the press. You and Lamb can meet the Boffins in my office tomorrow. Let's say 10:30.
Yes, very good, Sir Gregory, and kindest regards to Lady... Oh, he's gone.
What was that one?
Work of extreme national importance, too. Something you can really get your teeth into. What a pity we had to be in when he rang up.
Startling experiments at Stoke Newington Laboratory have shown that in extremely cold temperatures in outer space, it will be extremely difficult to keep warm. I think that's the lot. How many weeks have we been sending out these bulletins, April?
It's 4 now, isn't it?
And how much of this stuff has actually found its way into the papers?
Well, there were those 2 lines in the Dumbartonshire Weekly Advertiser.
Exactly. And nothing in the national papers at all.
That's not surprising, is it? I mean, it's all very well Sir Gregory saying get publicity. There's no facts to get publicity for. Just stringing together a lot of junk, calling it the Space Research Bulletin and sending it out dramatically on the teleprinter doesn't fool the papers.
You're quite right, of course. Look at the high spot in this week's bulletin. It can now be revealed that Britain made a major contribution to the successful American space rocket recently sent up from Cape Canaveral. 2 small nuts in the capsule's right fin were made in Birmingham.
Yes, well, if we had some real news, they'd print it quickly enough.
Oh, Mr. Lamb?
Yes, Mildred, what is it?
Look, I'll have to finish sticking those snaps in your album this afternoon. I'm going off to lunch now.
You're not, Mildred. You know very well your lunch hour isn't till 1:30. Miss Adams and I have to go first.
But I've got to go up to the West End and buy a new dress for my party. Sort of a coming-out dress.
Certainly not. You're coming out of that one quite sufficiently. As a matter of fact, I've been meaning to speak to you about wearing more suitable clothes for the office and about punctuality. I expect you to get here at the proper time, go for lunch at the proper time, and leave at the proper time.
What did your last slave die of?
That will do, Mildred. Once and for all, you cannot go to lunch now. It'd mean leaving the office empty.
Well, what about Mr. H.J.? He hasn't come in at all yet.
That's quite enough. I'm bound to say, Mildred, your whole attitude to life is wrong. All you seem to care about is having a good time. If you go on like this, you'll probably find yourself redundant.
Oh, what a thing to say. How dare you? That does it. I'm going out now and I shan't come back till I feel like it.
Yeah, Mildred, come back. Mildred! Well, would you believe it? She's going to get the biggest rocket she's ever had when she gets back.
Yes, Mr. Lamb. Do you want to add any more to this bulletin?
But jolly good. The bulletin? No, it's all ready to go off to the
I
teleprinters.
suppose we'd better let H.J. see it first. He's rather lost interest since none of the first three got in the papers, but he still likes to tell his chums he's head of space research.
Well, pop it on his desk, will you? And then we'd better go and have lunch.
Ought we to leave the office empty?
If we don't go now, all the hot dishes will be off in the canteen. Besides, H.J. will be here at any minute.
Then you better leave him a note. Remind him teleprinters need the bulletin by 1:30.
Oh, good idea. Can I borrow your pencil? Now then, a space research bulletin to be sent off at 1:30.
And you ought to explain why Mildred's not here.
Oh, yes, and warn him she's due for a big rocket.
Yes.
If there's going to be a row, he'll want to make sure he's not here. I'll say, big rocket in the air. Mildred shot off early this morning. What time did she go?
About 1 o'clock, perhaps a bit before.
Yes, 1 or bit before. And I'll just add, Mildred must be brought down to earth. I'll leave it on his desk. Come along, April. Wednesday's shepherd's pie day in the canteen.
Morning, Miss Murphy. Morning, Miss Adams. How are you, bright and early this lovely morning? Hello, no one about. They shouldn't all be as late as this, should they? What's the time? Good gracious, 20 to 2. They've probably gone to lunch, of course, yes. Think I'll do the same. Nobody can say I haven't put in an appearance.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello, who are you?
From Teleprinters. It's gone 1:30, sir, and we haven't had the weekly space bulletin yet.
Bulletin? Oh, yes, of course. I'm so sorry. Help yourself, will you? I think you'll find it's on my desk over there. That's where they usually put it. I must be off. My staff will be back if you want any questions.
Oh, isn't it marvellous? This desk looks like a jumble sale. Ah, Space Research Bulletin to be sent off at 1:30. Oh, this must be it.
Well, Jack, what do you think? We could keep this from the midday edition, push the rest to the middle pages, and run a new headline on the Paris story.
Well, you're the news editor. I'd say it wasn't very strong for the 4 o'clock paper. What are we expecting? Let's see the schedule. Official report on Britain's space program. Any hopes?
No. It's just a weekly handout. It takes 200 words to say we're not doing anything. And, it'll be coming through on the teleprinter now.
Oh, might as well have a look.
Yes. All right, let's see. There it goes. Report from Government Space Bureau. Big rocket in the air. Mildred shot off early this morning. Hey, what's this? Something's up. Big rocket in the air. Mildred shot off early this morning. 1 orbit before Mildred must be brought back to Earth. Ye gods! At last we're doing something in space.
There's our lead, Peter.
Yeah, you bet. Mike, ring up these information people. We've put a rocket into space. Code name Mildred. No, better still. I'll ring them myself. Somebody find me the number. Quick.
Hello, no sign of H.J. yet?
Yes, there is. Look, his umbrella. He's been in and gone out to lunch.
Oh, good. Then he'll have sent the bulletin down to the teleprinters. What about Mildred, I wonder?
Looks as if she's been in, too. There's an envelope on your desk in her handwriting.
Let's see. Mr. R. Lamb, Esquire, Room 24, General Assistance Department, 308 Whitehall, London, SW1, England, by hand. Mr. Lamb, I regard what you said this morning was rude, not fair, and furthermore a diabolical liberty. I shall not come back until you have apologized or else said you're sorry. If you are ready to do so, you can leave a message with my ma. I will be going round Mars at 4 o'clock. Yours, M. Murphy. All right, I'm nearest. Hello, Space Information Bureau.
Peterson, news editor, Evening Banner here.
Oh, Mr. Peterson, how nice to hear from you.
Now, look, can you give us some information about this big rocket?
Well, of course, which big rocket?
Well, this morning's big rocket. What was the name we were given? Yes, Mildred.
Oh, the Mildred business. Good gracious, you press boys get onto everything, don't you?
Mildred was fired this morning, I understand.
Not exactly fired, sort of shot off, you know.
All right, shot off, but this was very sudden, wasn't it?
Not really. We've been building up to it for some time.
Look, where's Mildred now?
Where's Mildred? I'm not too sure. Wait a minute, though. We've just had a message. Hold on a moment. April, the Evening Banner are trying to dig up some dirt on that row with Mildred. She must have got onto them.
Amazing how anything that happens in a government office is news.
Yes, still they told us to cooperate. Where's that note from Mildred?
Here you are.
Ah, thank you. Mr. Peterson, I'll read you the latest message on Mildred's whereabouts. The exact words are, "We'll be going round Mars at 4 o'clock."
We'll be going round... Holy smoke, did you say round Mars?
Yeah, round Mars, that's right, yeah.
Hold it. We've got to print this straight away. Hey, Wilson, set up a special edition. Mildred is going round Mars.
I can't think why they're so interested. Anything else you want to know, Mr. Peterson?
Oh, there certainly is. Is Mildred British?
Oh, yes, Mildred's British, all right.
Yeah, absolutely all British?
How do you mean?
Well, I was wondering if any part of Mildred belonged to the United States.
Well, there was an American soldier once who... No, I'm quite sure there isn't.
Oh, splendid. Oh, and there's one other detail the public are sure to want. What's the reason for the name Mildred? Why did it have to be a girl's name?
Why did it... what? Well, I imagine her parents took the doctor's advice.
Parents? Oh, wait a minute. You can't possibly mean... Is Mildred a girl?
Oh, I think... is what?
Is Mildred a girl?
Well, we hate to give firm opinions here at the Ministry, but I can say all available evidence points to the fact.
This is fantastic. Wilson, hold that special edition. So, Mildred is a girl, and she's in this thing?
What thing?
This rocket.
Yeah, of course. She's right in the middle of it, yes. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Peterson, I really must hang up. We're in the middle of an important meeting.
Wait a minute.
Amazing how some people waste time.
Excellent lunch, I thought, Crumpton.
Yes, very good. Club food's looking up.
New chef, you know. Foreign fellow, I'm afraid. Still, you've got to hand it to him, haven't you?
Well, back to the office now, I suppose.
Comes from Paris, I think. Wife and I are off to Paris shortly.
You taking a taxi?
Oh, no, my dear friend, I think we'll go by air.
I mean, are you taking a taxi back to your office?
I beg your pardon. Yes, of course.
You are taking a taxi?
No, I don't take taxis. I walk. I enjoy the walk. It's only a matter of 100 yards
Oh,
or so,
good.
you
I
know.
go your way. I'll join you.
Good.
Interesting stuff you mentioned at lunch, H.J.
Mm-hmm.
So your department keeps tabs on space research?
That's right, yes. Under your hat, of course. But actually, the PM's asked me to look after the whole business.
Has he? By Jove.
The idea is to have one key man coordinating all the different research centres, you know.
Lot of work and worry, isn't
Oh,
it?
good gracious, never stops. And not the sort of thing you can leave to juniors either. But I see it as a challenge.
Paper, special edition, Britain Space Woman Sensation.
Hello, what's all this?
Thank you, sir.
Good gracious.
What is it?
Look at this. Britain launches world's first spacewoman. UK rocket orbits Mars.
Oh, my goodness.
It's fantastic.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yes.
Not that any surprise to you, of course, eh?
Oh.
Your line of country, isn't it?
Yeah.
I must say you kept very quiet about it over lunch.
Yes, did I? Yes, I did, didn't I? Yes. Heavens, I wish I'd read that bulletin. Well, protocol, you see.
Oh, yes, of course. Remarkable. And you knew about it all the time.
Well, naturally, I mean, it's our project, isn't it?
What a dog horse you are.
Yeah.
How big's this rocket?
How big? Oh, well, very big, yes. Oh, very big indeed.
Fancy that.
Well, it has to be, you know. It's got a long way to go, hasn't it? Do you know how far it is to, where was it again?
Mars.
Oh, yes, Mars, yes. Do you know how far it is to the planet Mars?
No, I don't.
Neither do I. But it's a very long way.
Fascinating to get the inside story like this from someone who knows all the technical side.
Oh, yes, very technical business, of course.
What about the girlie?
The girlie?
The girlie in the rocket. How was she chosen?
Oh, there's a girlie in the... Oh, that girlie, yes,
That
of course,
girlie,
I beg
yes.
your pardon. Well, exhaustive tests, you know,
really?
years of training.
What's propelling this rocket? Solid fuel, steady feed, parallel rocket arrangement, or supercharged variable jets with thermonuclear boosters?
Well, it's not quite so simple as that.
I must say, I take my hat off to you scientific chaps. But tell me, what kind of heat shield have you used
I'm
in this
awfully
particular
sorry, Crumpton, some of these details are a bit hush-hush.
Ah,
You
yes.
look too much. Besides, this is my door. I have to dash in to get a bit lost if I'm not there.
Of course, of course.
Good to see you, Crumpton. Goodbye.
Thank goodness you're back, One. The office has been going mad.
Oh, I'm not surprised, really, too. You might have told me about this space roddick. Under-Secretary of the Admiralty asked me about it on the way back from the club, and of course I knew nothing. You know I don't read that wretched bulletin. I had to bluff pretty hard, I can tell you.
What do you mean, you had to bluff? You were the one who sent off the news.
What?
I didn't even know there was a space rocket till all the phones rang at once. Where was it launched from? When would it be back? I'm the one who had to do the bluff. In the end, we had to leave the receivers off. We've been waiting for you to come and tell us what it's all about.
Me, my dear chap, all I know is what's in the newspaper.
Oh, it's in the papers. Good. Oh, it must be all right then.
Yes, look, we can get most of the facts from the front page. Look at the front page. A dramatic government bulletin at 1:30 announced that Britain has put a woman into space, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on.
They don't seem to give many details.
No, that's the trouble with these wretched government people. They never tell you. Just a minute, there's something wrong here.
Yes, there is, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
We're not supposed to get these facts from the papers. They're supposed to get them from us.
But how can they if we haven't got any?
That's the point. No, too, you're going round in circles. This 1:30 bulletin's the thing we issue. They did get their facts from us.
Oh, then that's all right then. We're reliable enough.
Now then. Take a grip on yourself, too. Now you're agreeing the rocket news was in our bulletin.
Only if you edited. The bulletin I wrote was the usual load of old rubbish.
That's right, I read it.
Thank you, April.
My dear fellow, how could I have added it? I didn't even see it.
But I put it on your desk as usual.
What?
In fact, look, it's there now. It's right there where I... If the space bulletin's still on your desk, what got sent round to the teleprinters?
Better ring and find out.
Oh, dear. Hello, get me teleprinters, will you? I'm beginning to get the screaming nudges again.
Teleprinter speaking.
Yeah, this is the Space Information Bureau. What did our 1:30 bulletin say?
Oh, hang on, I've got it here. Big rocket in the air. Mildred shot off early this morning. One orbit before Mildred must be brought back to Earth.
Oh.
Did you get that?
Right between the eyes. Can you tell us how you got that bulletin?
I got it off the desk like the man told me.
Thank you.
Two, what is all this? Can you understand it?
I'm afraid I'm getting a ghastly glimmer. Look, One, when you weren't in by lunchtime, I left you a note. And so that, as I see it, is how we come to be the first people to put a clanger into orbit.
Dear, my dear fellow. So there's nothing up there at all. Your face will be red in the morning, too.
More likely deathly white. While you were out, I confirmed the news to 15 papers and acknowledged congratulations from the Turkish embassy.
What a good thing you're on the established staff. You'll probably get away with a transfer to records in the Outer Hebrides.
If only you'd got back from lunch sooner.
My dear fellow, I was having a very important chat with the Under-Secretary of the Admiralty, telling him about this rocket, you see, and... Oh, my goodness. Miss Adams, fetch that little bottle from the first aid cabinet, will you please?
Smelling salts?
Don't be silly, the brandy.
I'm glad you realize the position.
I realize that through your staggering incompetence, I've been boasting to a senior colleague about a rocket that doesn't exist. Do you realize I shan't be able to show my face in the club again?
Oh, bother your club. Do you realize your department's responsible for an entirely false story being shouted by every paper from Land's End to John O'Groats?
Not to mention every radio and TV from New York to Vladivostok.
In fact, the whole situation couldn't be more Vladivostok. When they find out the truth, Britain will be humiliated, the government will be exasperated, and, we'll be obliterated.
I think I'll just go and lie down for a minute.
I'll put the receiver back on the phone.
Oh, this is absolute.
Hello? Space Information Bureau?
Ah, Hamilton Jones there.
It's for you, sir.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Hello, hello. Hamilton Jones here.
Ah, Crumpton here.
Oh, Crumpton.
At the Admiralty.
At the Admiralty, yes.
About this rocket.
The rocket, yes. Perhaps I'd better explain.
Oh, no need for that. When I got back and tried to surprise the First Lord of the Admiralty, I found he knew all about it.
Yes, well, of course we all... What? What did you say?
The First Lord. Said naturally he'd been on it from the very first thing.
He has?
The press have been on, of course. Wanted to know what arrangements were made for picking up this astronaut when she gets back.
Oh, my goodness.
The First Lord told them that he's already diverted the whole home fleet for the job.
Good Lord.
Eh?
I mean, good for him, good for the Lord. Good for the First Lord.
Oh,
What?
right, yes.
Yes.
Yes, but just between you and me, you know, he was flannelling a bit.
Oh.
Our information on the return arrangements, you know, they're not quite to hand.
I see.
We've got the general picture, of course, but could you remind us exactly where the capsule's coming down?
The capsule coming down.
Yes, where?
Where? Oh, yes, the North Sea.
Can you be a little more exact?
Yes. The South.
The South?
Yes, that's to say the South North Sea. Somewhere off East Anglia, we think. Do you know that coast at all? Very bracing.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Hamilton Jones. We'll get the home fleet there immediately.
I don't wish to sound disrespectful, one, but have you gone stark staring bonkers?
Oh, on the contrary, I've suddenly seen the light.
But you let him believe the rocket is up. You even told him where it was coming down.
Look, if we admit this mistake, we're in trouble, right?
Right.
So why admit it?
Well, it's against all decency and ethics to conceal a mistake. Unless you're quite sure you can get away with it.
Exactly. And on the phone, I realized we just might get away with it.
But how can we get away with it? There are hundreds of people who'd know if a rocket had been fired, and as soon as they know, they'll know they don't know.
But will they dare admit it? You didn't, I didn't, the First Lord of the Admiralty didn't. We're all afraid it was in some dispatch we hadn't read and ought to have read, so we pretended we did know.
Oh, dear, I don't like the sound of this.
Well, remember, we've got nothing to lose. April, bring me all the files on Russian and American space flights, will you? And where's that Mildred girl?
She'll be at her mother's by this time.
Then, for heaven's sake, go and find her before the press get hold of her.
All right, then.
2, take those receivers off again. Tell the doorman not to let anyone up to this office. Just give me time to think.
Don't bother answering the door, Mike. It's the big fight coming up on telly. Oh, whatever's happening?
We're interrupting television's visit to All In Wrestling at the Athenaeum for our hourly bulletin on Britain's space rocket. Agency messages now suggest that the world's first woman in space is not a trained astronaut, but a typical London typist.
Oh, did you hear that, Ma? Oh, I'm glad it's not me.
However, it's now known that the girl, who should at this moment be orbiting the planet Mars, is a civil service secretary who volunteered for the job. She's a 19-year-old Londoner, and her name is Mildred Murfin.
Oh! Did you ever? It is me.
Thank you, Mrs. Murfin. Mildred, come along with me.
Oh, it's you, April. Yeah, did you hear that? They think I've been shot into space.
You'll be shot somewhere else if you don't come back to the office at once.
Honestly, one, how long do you think we can keep this up?
As long as you've got the good sense to lie low and let them all get on with it. There have been 3 special editions of the papers already, and nobody's smelt a rat yet.
But aren't they going to want some details soon?
Details, my dear boy, what they want with details are quite happy making up their own. Look at this latest paper.
Thanks, I'd rather not.
Nonsense, nonsense. Look at this. Full of good stuff. Listen to this. Tense, pale, but doggedly courageous, Mildred Murfin flies on.
Yes. It is remarkable, isn't it? They filled the whole front page without knowing anything at all. Shares leap on the stock exchange.
Tonight's TV program's cancelled. Dimbleby stands by.
Look, it's spread to the middle as well. I Was Mildred's First Date by Albert Boggis. It's amazing. Do you know, I'm beginning to believe all this myself.
Look here. Look in the stop press column. This is our best hope yet.
What is it?
Questioned about the rocket at his home this afternoon, the Minister of Science seemed to be taken by surprise. But he said we're all very pleased. I can say nothing more at the moment. If we're up the creek, we've got a cabinet minister in the same boat. The government can't afford to let the truth out now.
Look, Juan, all these people are British. They want to believe in the rocket. What about the American and Russian tracking stations? They see there's nothing there. They've got the most up-to-date equipment.
Yes, but they're still manned by old-fashioned human beings. Keep your fingers crossed, too.
I don't get it, Dexter. The British rocket should be on this bearing. But look, there's not a thing on the screen. Better tell the news agencies.
Hey, Professor! News flash from Moscow. They say they're picking up the British rocket loud and clear on their new high-powered People's Telescope.
Oh, they are they?
Yeah.
Well, let's take another look at this screen. Uh-huh. Hey, I can see something. Look there, see?
Yeah, you're right, Professor. It's coming up real clear.
And here's our latest bulletin. Russia's scientists have sighted Britain's rocket in orbit. Giving this news, Moscow radio paid tribute to the astronaut Mildred Murfin, descended, they said, from Russian grandparents. American tracking stations have also seen the rocket, and Jodrell Bank, at first unable to detect it, now reports the clearest picture of all. The Prime Minister told a crowded House he was justly proud of Britain's space achievement. It showed, he said, what the ship of state could do once it rolled up its sleeves. Meanwhile, Britain's Space Information Bureau remains strangely silent. They're thought to be delaying further statement until after the astronauts' return, which they're awaiting with quiet confidence. Stand by for further bulletins.
No, honestly.
Now then, pull yourself together, for heaven's sake.
Getting this matches again.
Pull yourself together.
It's no use, Juan. Getting away with it so far has only made it worse. Now the whole world's waiting to see the rocket come back.
And so they shall, my dear fellow, so they shall.
But how can they? We'll have to say it burnt up in space. Mildred can go to South America under a different name, and we'll send her postal orders.
Do you mind, Mr. Lamb, South America?
That'll do, Mildred, that'll do. Now, according to my plan, you'll go no further than Southend. Listen, everyone. I've been studying the way these other astronauts got back, and I think I've got the answer. 2. Ring Customs and Excise and borrow one of their launches, will you? April, pop into Harridge's and buy a yellow rubber dinghy. Mildred, I'm relying on you to show all the courage and intelligence of which I know you're capable.
Do what?
I want you to do as you're told. Now, listen carefully.
Hello, America. Hello, the world. This is Ed Burrows reporting to you from London, England. Reporting the 3 words you've been waiting to hear. Mildred is back. Mildred Murfin, the world's first woman astronaut, has returned from orbiting the planet Mars. Let me give you the details so far as they are known. Through a slight miscalculation, Mildred came down not in the North Sea, where so many sailors were waiting to pick her up, but in the deserted Thames estuary. Here she was rescued by the foresight of Space Information Bureau's Roland Hamilton Jones, who was patrolling this very area in a launch. Only a few lucky spectators on historic Southend Pier saw Mildred hauled from her rubber dinghy. Tragically, the capsule itself, with all data and records of this historic flight, had already sunk to the bottom of the sea. Reports say Mildred is in good shape, but her immediate boss, Mr. Richard Lamb, was taken to hospital suffering from nervous exhaustion. And so a new page is written in the history of man's endeavor.
How are you feeling now, too?
Well, the week's rest has done me good, but I still dread getting found out. And after all that international hoo-ha about Britain's space triumph, not to mention the rewards we've had from the grateful government, that new hat stand in your office, my 5 days sick leave without a certificate. Mind you, I thought they were a bit over-generous with Mildred.
You mean that free book of luncheon vouchers? Anyway, you needn't worry, too. The whole thing's past history now. We'll never get a tougher assignment.
I wouldn't be too sure, one. This wire's just come from the Prime Minister.
Oh, thank you. Let me see. Delighted with your success. Getting a rocket to Mars suggests you can cope with really difficult problems. I therefore appoint you Road Congestion Council Report Mr. Marples at once. Oh, no, 2. This is too much.
Well, it looks like
Yes, well.
In this program, the men from the ministry were Wilfrid Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch. Other essential personnel were Diana Olson, Norma Ronald, Roy Dotrice, David Graham, and John Graham. The Men from the Ministry is written and produced by Edward Taylor.
Time now to meet the men from the ministry. We present Wilfrid Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to the men of our government service. Men who often work around the clock, in which position they can be sure to get away on time. Typical of life at the ministry is the work of the General Assistance Department, a constant round of problems, puzzles, and queries.
This large post's a bit of a problem.
A large post?
Yes, there's 5 letters.
Large post, 5 letters, dear me.
What a tricky crossword this is.
Tricky crossword, certainly is. It's not done by 4 o'clock. I'll have to finish it this evening. Though I must say I don't like taking work home with me.
Excuse me, sir. There's a gentleman to see you.
I've got it, Caber. That's a large post in 5 letters. Those Scots fellows throw 'em about at their Highland Games. Caber, C-A-B-E-R.
We're much too busy to see anyone at the moment, Mildred.
Oh, here he comes.
Is this Mr. Hamilton Jones' office?
Yeah, what is it? Now, what is it? You can't come in bursting in here like that.
Well, the permanent under-secretary sent me.
Oh, he can come bursting in here.
Sir Gregory sent you?
Yeah.
Oh, what's it all about?
Well, my name's Blanche White.
Blanche White.
Yes, and I'm to supervise the redecoration of your offices.
Redecoration?
Well, surely Sir Gregory will have told you all about me.
Oh, yes, Sir Gregory will have told us all about him, won't he?
Oh, will he? Yes.
Look here. Redecoration means a lot of upheaval, doesn't it?
I must say, the place could do with some changes. I mean, this colour scheme, for instance, dark brown and grey.
I suppose it is a bit flashy. Perhaps something more sober would be better.
On the contrary, what we've got to do is brighten the place up.
Brighten the place up?
Yes, a bold splash of orange for this wall, a lilac for that one, some furniture for the 1960s, and an unbleached hessian for the ceiling to give it that peasant look.
Peasant look? What's he talking about?
I don't know.
Look here, young man, we don't want any changes here. Thank you very much. Hello? Never heard such nonsense in all my life.
What?
Redecoration.
This is Sir Gregory Pitkin.
Oh, Sir Gregory Pitkin, good evening.
Has that idiot Blanche White arrived
Yes,
yet?
I should say he has. Idiot's the right word for him. Has the audacity to say he wants to brighten the place up.
Quite. Well, give him every cooperation.
Give him what?
Oh, cooperation.
Oh, yes.
Brilliant young decorator. Lady Pitkin has great faith in him.
Yes, he looks the type. Oh, surely...
But it's up to us in government service to set an example. Get modern. Encourage young new talent.
Yes, but don't get too excited, Sir Gregory, if I may suggest it. I want to ask you something. Is he going to redecorate your office, Sir Gregory?
Certainly not. I'm not having his half-baked notions here. I mean, this place isn't suitable for modernization.
No, of course not.
No, yours is.
Oh, I see.
So give him a free hand. Those are my instructions.
But Sir Gregory, oh, he's rung off.
Now, over here, I'll put a mobile in cast iron and Swedish cork. I'll just pop into the outer office and let my imagination roam free.
Dear me, too, Sir Gregory says we've got to give this chap a free hand.
It's sheer vandalism. These offices have been brown and grey since the time of Pitt the Younger.
Yes, of course. paint's darkened a bit since then, perhaps. It's hard to tell which is which now, isn't it?
Perhaps if we could show the fellow the original brown and grey, he might change his mind.
Well, that's rather a good idea, too. Why don't we pull out that filing cabinet? Should be some of the original colour behind there.
Oh, move the filing cabinet?
Yes.
Well, righto. Oh.
Is it heavy? Let me give you a hand.
Oh, thanks.
Well, that should be easier for you. I've taken my library book off the top.
Oh, that's shifted it. Ooh, look, there's a bit of the original wall colour.
Yes, I thought there would be.
Bureaucratic brown and government grey.
Good, that's it then. Hello, what's that on the floor?
Looks like a memo. It's so dusty down there.
Pick it up.
It is a memo.
What's it say?
It's headed to General Assistance Department. Order for the demobilisation of 625 Battery, the Birkenhead Light Infantry. Is that our pigeon?
Well, we have handled that sort of thing in the past when the War Office were overloaded. Can't remember that one, though.
Good gracious, it's dated 1945. It must have been behind there all that time.
Yes, you know, the cleaners in this place are altogether too slack. We ought to give them a good talking to.
Yes, if ever we got here before they'd gone.
I tell you what we'll do. We'll leave him a stiff note underneath the hyacinth.
I say what? I've just had a thought. Wouldn't it be funny if...
If what?
if that demob order had been forgotten for 20 years and...
And you mean the whatchamacallit light infantry was still there? Is that what you mean? Waiting for the demobilisation.
They couldn't still be there, could they?
No, surely not. Where were they?
According to this, a gun site on the coast of Wales, near Llanelmlyn Gog. Wherever that is.
No, of course they can't be there. Someone bound to have taken care of it. Mustn't let your imagination run away with you.
You don't know.
You reckon Jerry might be over tonight, Sarge?
Well, you never know, soldier, you never know. Turn that blasted gramophone off. You'll give away our position to every U-boat that's lurking round the coast.
Sorry, Sarge.
Put your tin hat on. Wait a minute. What's that inside it there?
It's just a pin-up, Sarge. Just a pin-up. It's my favourite. Betty Grable.
Squad, arcade, hop! Evening, sir.
Carry on, Sergeant. Just having a prowl around. Everything all right, eh?
Sir.
A gun been checked lately?
Oh, yes, sir. It's in first-class condition, sir. Ready to blast any ruddy Messerschmitt out of the sky.
Splendid, splendid. And the shell. Anybody polished the jolly old shell lately, Sergeant?
Sir, Private Filchard and Smith have been on polishing duty all day, sir.
First class. Step outside a moment, Sergeant, will you? I'd like a word.
Sir. Carry on, Private Attenborough.
Don't mind telling you, Sergeant, I'm getting worried about the men's morale.
Yeah, well, it's all his waiting, sir. See, they're itching to have a go at the enemy, sir. It's over 20 years.
No, you don't have to tell me how long it's been. 20 years, and I'm as anxious as anyone to have a crack at the Hun. The devils are obviously lying low.
Yes, yes.
Come to that, you know, we haven't heard from our own chaps lately.
No, sir. Not a word from anyone since 1942.
By the way, Sergeant, now there's only one shell left. We can't go popping off at anything that flies over, you know. Got to be sure.
Yes, sir. I mean, they seem to be flying much faster these days, sir. It's hard to tell which is ours and which is theirs.
Damned awkward.
Permission to speak, sir?
Carry on, Sergeant.
Well, sir, some of the chaps, you see, they're wondering why we've had no contact with base all this time.
Well, they've got Private Attenborough to thank for that. If he hadn't dropped the radio back in 42, we'd still be getting messages.
Yes. But begging your pardon, sir, there is the question of leave.
Sergeant, you know our orders. This is a first-line gun site, to be fully manned at all times. No leave, no 48-hour passes till further notice. When base are ready to relieve us, they'll do so. I know it's tough, this blasted wilderness, 25 miles from the nearest village, no mail services, no contact with civvies, but we can't have any slacking.
Sir.
Look, I'll tell you what. Get the chaps together tomorrow and I'll give them a bit of a pep talk.
Infernal nuisance, this decorating fellow, too. Wants to take away my marble inkstand and quill sharpener.
Yes, but what's worrying me is this army unit at Nephilim-Gog.
Is it?
I can't find any record of their ever
it's a
being
tricky
discharged.
Tricky business. Tricky name, too.
Lucky Mildred's boyfriend's at the War Office.
Is he still there?
He's making a few discreet inquiries over there,
yes.
Excuse me, sir. I've just heard from Bernard. He's been down in the War Office basement.
Yes, Mildred?
He says there are still a dozen D-Mob suits hanging there. Double-breasted pinstripe with 24-inch bottoms.
Oh, dear.
Do you think they could be... I mean, for the chaps at Nemlin-Gog, they'll never forgive us.
Oh, I don't know. 2 double-breasteds coming back, I'm told.
It's not just the double-breasted... Well, 20 years gone, the isolation, oh, dear, my mind's boggling.
Now, pull yourself together, Pull yourself together. We don't know they're still there.
Well, hadn't we better go and see?
What do you mean, go down ourselves?
Yes, if they are there, we might be able to cover up. If someone else finds them first, there'll be a terrible hoo-ha.
Yes, but the Welsh coast's a long way away, and I think I've got an engagement tomorrow. What is it now? Oh, yes, one of Mrs. Hamilton Jones' bridge parties. You're invited, too. You're quite right. We'll go.
Well, the nearest railway station's Abergaburton Daffy, 40 miles from the camp. I looked it up.
2. I've never had a more uncomfortable train journey. Seems a lifetime since we left Victoria.
Oh, I don't know. It's only been 8 hours, and lunch in the restaurant car broke the monotony.
You know, I can't say I really enjoyed meals on a train. I'm still trying to remove the last traces of that mushroom soup from my right ear.
Oh, is that what it was? Never mind, we're nearly there.
Nearly at the end of the line, you mean? We've still got 40 miles of uncharted bog to cross.
You are in a cross mood, man, ever since the bookstall at Victoria, when you bought the new politician just because people were watching.
Well, one has a position to maintain.
If you'd got the Sunbathers Annual like me, the time would have passed much quicker.
But if those soldiers have been there for 20 years, we'd better keep the Sunbathers Annual out of their way, I think.
Yes, but... Oh, dear, that mob in the next carriage is singing again.
It's an extraordinary crowd, very strangely dressed, did you notice?
Sort of forage caps and camouflage jackets.
Dark glasses, one or two of them.
Yes, I think they're foreign.
Oh, is that what it is? Yes, quite right, you're probably right.
There's one of them coming down the corridor.
Oh, good heavens, look at him.
Guten Tag, guten Tag. You will be delighted to have me join you.
Oh, we're delighted to have me join him, yes. Oh, I'm sure we will, yes.
I am from the party in the next carriage
he's
coming.
From the party in the next carriage.
They're singing. Beautiful, is it not? It was giving me a headache.
Oh, was it really giving him a headache, poor fellow?
My friends and I, we are from the Bavarian Bird Watching Society. We are come to watch your British birds.
Come to watch our British birds? You don't say.
Ach, but I do say. You see, so far we have watched 127 birds, not counting one which I suspect we watched twice.
Oh, we better count that, hadn't we? How incredible.
Yeah, but it's not too bad for one day. Now, tomorrow we shall do even better. We have set a target of 150 birds. It's our first time in Wales.
And it is for bird watching you wear these camouflage caps and coats?
Yeah, the British birds, they are most suspicious, you see. And we try to make ourselves as inconceivable as possible.
Inconceivable. Very quaint, isn't it?
And you, sir, are you also come for the call of nature?
Ought he to talk to me like that? No, you've got it all wrong, sir. We're travelling on business.
In Abergaburton Duffy?
Oh, no, much further on than that.
A little place called Llanymlyn-Gog.
Yes.
Funnily enough, we're not too sure where it is or how to get there.
Then permit me to help you. It's very difficult for you in a strange country.
Yes, very kind.
Very nice. Yes.
See, now, I've got a map here.
Emlyn-Gog. Yes.
Let me see. Llanymlyn-Gog.
Yeah. It's a very remote and rather small place, somewhere between the mountains and the sea.
So, here I have it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. It's nearby the last recorded nest of the white-throated grabblebird.
Oh,
Is it?
Isn't that marvellous, Mum? This gentleman's found the place for us.
Oh, very kind, very kind. I wonder if you can tell us how to get there.
Well, just a moment. I look in my book. A moment. Yeah. Yeah. You get the green bus to Merthyr Sycombe. There's a 3:40 bus today, being the early closing festival. You change buses at Laffel and again at Betty-Dillon.
Yeah, I'll just make a note of that.
Allow me to present my card.
Oh, thank you very much.
Heinrich von Schnabel.
Oh, I got it
How do you
upside
do?
down. Yes, Heinrich von Schnabel. How do you do? How do you do,
My
von
friend,
Schnabel?
Please, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No,
my
no.
station is near. I must return now to my group. I hope perhaps during the next few days I shall run over you. Auf Wiedersehen.
We're going to run over.
Up to the group. Yes.
Unusual fella. Do you know, I think you were right about his not being English.
Oh, I spotted it right away. Anyhow, he's found Llanimlin Gog
Yes, but that's all right as far as it goes. But it's only the nearest village to. The camp was 20 miles further on. The usual cockeyed Whitehall planning.
Right, men, settle down. Now, I've gathered you here today to give you a short talk. I know how you're all feeling, a bit bored, eh? Lost that first flush of enthusiasm. Yes, wondering what the enemy's up to while we're here waiting, eh? Better get him back to attention, Sergeant.
Good. Okay. Hard!
Yes, much better. Now, look, I know this delay's got on your nerves, it's got on mine too, and that's exactly what Hitler wants. He hopes we'll go running back to base to find out why we haven't been relieved. That's when he'll strike. And remember, this is just the kind of place he'll choose to invade. A swift blow to the soft underbelly of the Welsh coast, and within days he could cut off Britain's supplies of vital commodities, like coal and leeks. Yes. Now that's why I say to you, we must not go running back to base. There must be no slacking. And another thing, you've had no contact with the civvy population for a long time now. I don't regret that. There may be some among them who by now are talking of negotiating with the enemy. Appeasement. In other words, giving in. Now, if you should ever meet any of these mealy-mouthed pacifists, I hope you'll know how to treat them. I hope you'll show them that the...
Sir,
What?
there's two men approaching the camp, sir.
What's that?
David Attenborough's on lookout, sir. Stand to attention, laddie, and report properly. Keep quiet and speak up.
There are two men, sir, approaching the camp, sir.
Enemy parachutists?
I don't think so, sir. They're both wearing bowler hats and carrying umbrellas.
Sounds like a disguise. Sergeant, send a squad to pick them up and search them. I'll interrogate them in my office in 15 minutes. Brace up, men. This could be where the balloon goes up. Right, Sergeant, it's clear enough. These two are enemy agents masquerading in civilian clothes. Even if we didn't have proof, you could tell this one here from his heavy Teutonic jaw and that tough militaristic bearing. So, you are Heinrich von Schnabel, yes?
No, of course I'm not Heinrich von anybody.
Well, that's the name on your card. It's here in black and white. Do you deny it?
Yes, I mean no. That is, I don't deny that's the name on the card, but I do deny... what?
Just a moment, I think I can explain everything quite simply. I think. You see, this card was given to us by a Bavarian bird watcher on the train.
That's right, on the
yes,
puff.
that's to say, he wasn't a man who watched Bavarian birds, he was a Bavarian man who watched British birds.
Yes, pretty good, that
And he didn't like the singing, you see. Well, he did like the singing, but it gave him a headache. And he set a target of 150 birds, including the grabblebird.
Oh, yes, I've heard that tale before, my lad. Admit it now, you're a couple of Jerry spies.
No, look, this is, do listen to me. This is all a misunderstanding. I realize you've been out of touch for some time. We're here to put you in the picture.
Aha, you came to photograph me gun sight, you spy.
Oh dear, it's awful to be... Don't get so excited. We're from the Ministry in London. The Ministry, we're British. B-R-I-T-I-S-H, British. My name's Hamilton Jones. This is Mr. Lamb.
Yes, that's quite right.
Got to admit they speak the lingo pretty well, Sergeant. They could be telling the truth. What do you think, Sergeant?
May I speak to the prisoner, sir?
Carry on, Sergeant.
You. Who scored 364 at the Oval in 1938?
Well, Len Hutton, of course.
And you?
Yes.
What would you do if a strange young lady threw her arms round your neck, and kissed you.
Oh, I'd apologise at once.
Sir, they're both British.
Well done.
Well, very well done, Sergeant. Well. Welcome to the camp,
Thank
chaps.
you.
Thank you very much.
By Jove, it's good to see you. You know, you're the first visitors in 20 years. You'll forgive the interrogation, of course. You can't be too careful, you know, especially with you being given that card, eh? That's quite a joke. Get our guests some drinks, Sergeant.
Oh, that's kind.
I've almost forgotten how to treat people. We've been here alone so long.
Forgotten how to
But
treat
you
them.
can tell them in London we're okay. Still keener than ever. You'll have a lot to tell us.
Yes, we have, rather. You see, my dear Major, it's like the... I think you'd better tell the Major the purpose of our visit.
Me, yes. Well, that is, for instance, a bit of... I think it might come better from you.
Oh, no. You're doing very well.
Oh, dear, I'm not, am I?
Well, look, perhaps I could come in here.
Yeah, I wish you
We've
would.
only got one shell left, you know, and 80 tins of bully beef. Now, how soon are you sending us more food and ammunition?
How soon? Well, it's rather funny you should ask that question. Maybe a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
Yes,
You should ask
it's-
that question.
it's terribly
Very
funny.
you should ask
Funny,
that question,
yes.
maybe.
Well, what's the answer?
Well, what's the answer? I
I
should
wish
tell
I
you now.
knew,
Just
yeah.
wait a minute. I'm afraid there aren't any more supplies of any kind coming here, Major.
What?
We've actually come here to close this gun site and demobilize your men.
Demobilize? Has London gone stark raving mad?
Well,
are we fighting the Germans or are we not?
Ah, you've put your finger on it, Major. We're not.
What?
We're not fighting the Germans anymore.
We're giving up. We're going to let the enemy walk over us?
Drink, sir. What will you be taking?
Put those ready drinks away, Sergeant. These men are here to try and persuade us to give in.
Sir, I would have sworn that they was British.
They're British, all right, but they're not from the government. They're from some splinter group trying to start a surrender movement. Grizzlies, defeatists.
What?
Those are the mealy-mouthed pacifists I was warning the men about.
I'm not mealy-mouthed, am I, too?
Let's have a look. No, I wouldn't say you were. No,
No,
certainly
of
not.
course
By gad, it would have been better for you if you had been Jerry spies. I'd soon have a brace of honest Jerrys and a couple of traitors.
Look here, Major, kindly let me explain.
I won't hear another word from either of you. Sergeant, lock him up in the guard room at once.
One, you look as though you haven't slept too well.
You're right, I can't say I have. On the other hand, from the way you've been snoring, anyone would think you were used to sleeping in a cell.
I was pretty tired after
What
yesterday.
a day, too, what a day. 8 hours on the train, 3 on the bus, 2 in a pony cart, 1 on foot, and straight into the soup.
Funny how that man in the pony cart wouldn't bring us all the way here.
All that nonsense about the locals believing these hills are haunted.
I suppose that's why this wretched gun site hasn't been discovered all these years. The ghosts frighten people away.
Well, I wish they'd frighten us away.
How long do you think the Major's going to keep us prisoner?
From his manner, I should think just until he can have us court-martialed and shot.
Oh, no.
He's living in a world of his own, that fellow. Like old Rudge at the Board of Trade. Do you
Old
remember
Rudge at
old
the Board
Rudge
of
at the
Trade?
Board of Trade? What?
Who-
Do you remember him? Delusions of grandeur. Used to grow watercress in his out tray.
Yeah.
Nasty mess. Nasty
Yes, but
business.
to return to our predicament, hadn't we better start thinking of how to get out of here?
Get out of here? How can we get out of here?
Well, we're prisoners. We ought to form an escape
An
committee.
escape committee.
I've got it.
What?
They're bound to allow us some exercise, aren't they? We can build a wooden vaulting horse, and then you can hide inside it and start to dig a tunnel.
What with? My bowler hat, I suppose. Do stop talking nonsense. All we can hope is that London realise where we are and put an end to our problems before the Major does.
London? Oh, dear. Then the whole thing will be out and we'll be in terrible trouble. Sir Gregory will go mad.
To pull yourself together, pull yourself together. Now, I'll tell you what we have got to worry about.
There's something else?
Yes, the Major still thinks there's a war on. He's in a savage mood, and he's still got one shell up, whatever he calls it.
Well, I know all that.
Well, let's hope he just doesn't find anything or anyone to fire that shell at before this thing gets sorted out, that's all.
Come, he'd never fire that big gun of his. Here in the heart of peacetime Wales, even the Mad Major couldn't find anything to shoot at here.
Halt! Good. We are here. My friends, we are now only a few hundred yards from the last nesting place of the white-throated grabblebird. You're all wearing your grey forage caps and camouflage jackets? Good. We will advance across these fields in extreme silence, and I think we may all have an amazing surprise. Ready? Right. Advance! That's right. Over the ridge.
What's that, Admiral? Speak up. You heard what?
I heard marching feet, sir. And this marching song sounded like German to me. Come from the road through the woods, sir.
Road through the woods? Yes. But that'd be... Good Lord! Look, Sergeant, look.
Oh, blimey. The fields are swarming with Jerry troops. Look, sir. Forage caps and camouflage jackets. They must be Jerry's.
I can hardly believe it, sir.
Can't you? This is what we've been waiting for, man.
But, sir, these Jerrys are coming from inland, not from the coast.
Don't you see? It all fits. The rest of Britain's been overrun already. That's why these collaborators have come down from London. We are the last line of defence now, not the first. Sound the alarm, Attenborough. Now, rifle fire's no good. There's too many of them. It'll all rest on the good old cannon here. Our only hope is to fire this shell right into the middle of that big group there around their leader. There could be a few gongs going around for this. Come along. You're not telling me enough. If you're going to be at the only window in the cell, you've got to keep up a running commentary.
But I've got to mind I don't fall off this stool.
Never mind that. Never mind what's happening out there.
It's terrible, one. All those bird watchers are swarming over the field.
Oh, they?
The Major's about to fire his big gun at them. The Major's raised his arm. It must be the signal. They're going to fire now. Hello?
What?
Something extraordinary's happened.
No.
The whole gun barrel split open and the shell just fell out. They're all looking at it in amazement.
Well, that seems to be the end of that then, doesn't it?
The gun sort of collapsed. No one's been hurt at all.
Excellent.
But I wonder what went wrong. They're supposed to have been practicing with that gun for years.
Yeah, probably a bit different this morning.
Different? But... One, you know something.
What do you mean?
Yes, you do. I can tell from your face.
Can you?
You've been up to something when you were let out for your morning exercise.
Well, I didn't like the idea of that shell being fired, as I told you, so I took certain steps.
Certain steps?
I thought if I forced something down the barrel, or whatever you call it, might prevent the shell coming out, which is what it seems to have done.
Force something down the barrel? But
yes.
What could you find to force down the barrel?
11 tins of bully beef.
11?
Yes. Now stop fussing, too, and tell me what's going on out there.
Yes, well, the Major seems to be addressing his men. Something about a sticky wicket, time to declare their innings closed. Hello, he's brought them to attention. They're going to march off. Look, one, see if you can get a foot on this stool. They're going to march past here and out through the gates. Here they come.
Oh, Mr. Lamb, what an extraordinary business. I bet those soldiers were livid when they found out they'd wasted the best years of my life.
Of course, they did get 20 years back pay and a lump sum plus gratuity. I gather they pooled their money to open a holiday camp on the Welsh coast.
So it's all straightened out.
In a way, yes, but we're very worried about Sir Gregory Pitkin. He hasn't heard about it yet, and when he does, he's sure to hit the roof.
Ah, there you are, too. Listen, I've just been having another look at that memo we found behind the filing cabinet.
Yes?
Oh, that's the phone, isn't it? There. Hello. Hamilton Jones here.
Sir Gregory Pitkin here.
Sir Gregory. Yes, it's Sir Gregory. Yes, hello, Sir Gregory.
Now, what the blue blazes is going on down there?
What's the blue blazes?
I've just had a call from the War Office.
Yes?
Seems they've had to give out 20 years back pay to a platoon that should have been demobilized back in 1945.
Oh, you've heard about that, have you? Rather humorous, don't you think?
What? Humorous? What?
Well, depending on your point of view, of course, yes.
Of all the incompetent bungling, of all the sheer harebrained idiocy,
Yes.
what have you got to say for yourself?
Glorious weather for the time of year, isn't it?
Don't hedge, Hamilton Jones.
Oh.
There's been an unholy muck-up, and I shall see that the man responsible is made to pay for it.
Quite right, Sir Gregory.
And the man responsible is you.
Oh, no, Sir Gregory.
In all my... What? General Assistance Department lost that demobilization order, didn't they? You're in charge of that department, aren't you?
Well, yes and no.
Yes and no? What the devil do you mean, yes and no?
Well, I am in charge now, but I wasn't when the order was sent in 1945.
What?
I'll just see who was in charge in 1945. I got the demobilization memo here. Now, let me see. It was addressed to... Oh, well, what
Yes?
a coincidence. It was addressed to and initialed by, it seems,
Yes?
Mr. Gregory Pitkin.
All right.
You were in charge of this department 1945, if you remember.
Yes. So
Of course, it was a very small memo, easily misplaced, eh?
Yes, of course. And of course, we don't want to be too hasty.
Oh, no. Absolutely, Sir Gregory, mustn't be hasty.
Yes, quite so. Yes, well, better to use our discretion, I'd say. Let the matter drop.
I should, Sir Gregory, yes, I quite agree.
Well, goodbye, dear old Hamilton Jones.
Goodbye, Sir Gregory.
Oh, well done, one.
Thank you. Seems we're not the only ones who make mistakes.
No, I'm afraid we're not, one. There's a letter for you from the War Office.
A letter for me from the War Office?
I'm afraid so, one. You've just been called up for the army.
Muddling through as the men from the Ministry were Wilfrid Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch. Others involved were Norma Ronald, Warren Mitchell, David Netheim and David Graham. This programme was written by Johnny Mortimer, Brian Cook and Edward Taylor, and produced by Edward Taylor. Time to meet the men from the Ministry. We present Richard Murdoch and Derek Guyler in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to the men of our government service. Those men who are sometimes compared to tea bags. They always stick together when they get into hot water. This week we find the General Assistance Department dealing with the problem of London's traffic. Naturally, they're giving it cool, careful thought.
I've got it, one. Let's arm the traffic wardens. Then they can shoot the motorist on the spot instead of messing about with fines.
Yes, and what if they only want to give a warning? A flesh wound in the leg, I suppose.
That's it. Issue them all with snub-nosed automatics, and we'll soon have...
No, too. You've been seeing too many gangster films.
Oh, there is my other scheme.
Oh, not the one where they're tarred and feathered for parking on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah. The one I worked out for Earl's Court High Street.
Oh.
We put no U-turn and no right turn signs at the end of it, you see?
Yes, so drivers have to turn left into Oxford Avenue.
We make that a one-way street, then we slap double yellow lines all along so that they'll have to keep going.
Yes, straight into the Earl's Court police car pound.
Exactly. Yeah. Then they'll have to pay £2 to get out again, and that'll cover the cost of the scheme.
Yes. You're not a motorist yourself, are you, too?
No. How did you know?
Oh, just a guess.
Excuse me, Mr. Lennox Brown. I've just finished typing up that list of new traffic signs you worked out.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Mildred. Yes, let me see now. Oh, my word. It's very neat, isn't it? Yes. Your typing's improving.
Oh, I think it's since I changed me nail polish. Do you know, it's funny, really. The carbon copy hasn't got any mistakes either.
Oh, well done, Mildred.
Yeah, and I'm learning that new fast writing, too, where they shorten all the words. I'll soon be able to get a good job and
Good. There you go. Did she say you worked out some new traffic signs, man?
What? Oh, yes. Well, it's just a little idea of mine, you know.
I see.
Look, I'll show you one.
Oh, good.
Now, here. You see? Now, look. That's to cover an occasion when a road is up outside a school near a level crossing.
A silhouette of a workman driving a train with 2 children on his shovel. Very good.
Clever, eh?
Oh, I should say so, one. You know, you've every right to look pleased with yourself.
Hello, Lennox Brown speaking.
Pitkin here.
Oh, it's the permanent undersecretary. Fasten your shoelace. Hello, Sir Gregory. How very nice.
I've just been looking through your department's expenses for the last quarter. You're spending far too much. Now, there's one item here, £33 for red tape.
Ah, yes, we use a lot of it, Sir Gregory. I don't know, it seems to get knotted so easily.
It seems to what?
Get knotted, Sir Gregory.
The tape. Well, now look here. In future, I want all your expenditures into me for clearance. All bills, invoices, etc. I want to see them first. Tell your staff.
Yes, just as you say, Gregory.
For the next week, send them to my home address, my new home. I'll be spending most of my time at home getting the place straight, you know.
Ah, yes, of course. Your new house, Sir Gregory. Oh, my word, yes. I hope you're finding...
And while I'm on to you, there's another thing. Now, you're working for the Ministry of Transport, aren't you? Do you know Potter's Green?
Is he really, Sir Gregory?
Potter's Green. It's a suburb of London, man.
Oh, a suburb of London.
There's a road widening scheme scheduled to go through, and there's been a hold-up on it.
A hold-up?
Yes. It seems the local Preservation Society are fighting this scheme. They say it threatens an historic old building. So get down there and sort it out.
Yes, certainly, Sir Gregory, yes.
And let's have none of your half-baked, stupid bungling this time. Don't muck it up like you usually do.
Oh, seemed a bit more pleasant than usual.
It's probably that house he bought last month. He's still very thrilled with it, I believe. Pitkin Towers, he calls it.
Yes, I know. It's a big old place. According to rumour, it even has a ghost.
A ghost? Isn't he frightened?
I expect he is. Sir Gregory can be quite fierce. Anyway, to order a minister car, will you? We've got to go out straight away.
Yes.
Potter's Green, you know.
Is he really? Poor old...
Don't make stupid remarks, too, please. Silly, that. Now, come along. Now, look, you can see the council architect, and I'll go along to the preservation people. Find out what it's all about.
How do you do, Mr. Lamb? I'm Crabshaw, council architect, and this is Mayor Trimble.
How do you do?
Oh, how do you do?
That's enough, Trimble. Don't overwhelm him with your idle chatter. Now then, Mr. Lamb, there's something in my office that will interest you. I've got a model laid out on the table.
Oh, by Jove, I say.
So if you'll just come on through, I'll show you.
I can't wait.
Now, this is a model of the High Street.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And that's the building I want to knock down.
Yes, that one there, right in the middle of the road.
All right, I can tell him, your worship. Any road, local preservation society have been kicking up a fuss and causing me a great deal of inconvenience.
I see. Now, what exactly is that building in the middle of the road?
It's a convenience.
I thought you said it was an inconvenience.
No. It's an inconvenient convenience. Public convenience is like.
Yes, I see what you mean, yes.
Yeah, and they're holding up my road widening plan by calling the thing an historic monument. They want to include it in their guided tours of the borough.
Yes. That's right. 2 and 6 a time. Or 2 and 7 if they want to see all of it.
Well, it seems to me they're holding up progress. I'm all for modernisation, you know. I was one of the first to change to a ballpoint quill.
Well, I can see we've got a lot in common. You must stay for lunch in the council canteen.
It's roast beef today, Mr. Lim.
No, it's lamb, actually.
Oh, but the menu clearly says...
Aye. All right, Trimble, go and polish your cockade or something. You will stay then, Mr. Lamb.
Very kind of
What, you'll not get better luncheon meat fritters at the Ritz, I'm telling you.
Oh, how exciting. Thank you very much. Then I must hurry back to the office and report to my number 1. He's seeing your opponent, Mrs. Livingston, the woman from the Preservation Society.
I'm not an unreasonable woman, Mr. Lennox Brown, but as president of the Potter's Green Preservation Society, I feel it is my duty to make a gesture. We must fight those councillors who want to pull down our old buildings.
Yeah. Mind you, some of them are crumbling and rather dirty.
Then they shouldn't be on the council. We've had many successful campaigns in the past, Mr. Lennox Brown. There was the time they were going to tear down the slipper baths. We all marched in and had a sit-down demonstration. It caused quite a splash, I can tell you.
Well, what exactly are you objecting to at the moment, Mrs. Livingston?
The council want to demolish a historic little boys' room in the High Street.
A little boys' room?
Yes, or penny house, if you like. We consider it of great architectural and historic interest. Now, here, I have a picture postcard of it.
Oh, a picture postcard. Thank you.
It's part of our tourist attraction campaign.
Yes. Well, looking at this picture postcard, it certainly seems a very unusual little boy's penny, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
Yeah. I like the gargoyles and the stained glass window.
It was built under Queen Victoria, you know.
Remarkable.
John Betjeman got quite caught up in it.
I dare say the turnstiles have rusted a bit. Yeah.
It would be a crime to pull down a place like this. It's full of historical associations. Gladstone, Disraeli, Kilroy.
He was there, was he?
Oh, yes. We have written proof. You know, our Mrs. Pilkington was going to protest by chaining herself to the railings outside.
Oh, was?
Yes. We haven't been able to free her from the railings outside the slipper baths yet. She makes such a thorough job of it, poor dear.
Yes. She obviously gets attached to these old buildings. Yes.
As I said, Mr. Lennox Brown, it's our duty to preserve this fine old building so that men may stand with their heads held high.
Yes, it's a very noble thought. Yes, well, Mrs. Livingston, we shall certainly take note of your objection before we make a final decision on the matter.
Thank you.
Yes, rest assured. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get back to the penny house, to the office.
Ah, Mildred, Mr. Lennox Brown back yet?
No, Mr. Lamb. Here, by the way, I got a message for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that wiggly main road you found going right through London?
Oh, yes, the wide one. Did they convert it into 3 lanes, as I told them?
Well, they did try, but they say it's difficult painting white lines down the middle of the Thames.
I wondered why it was shaded blue on the map.
Oh, and the Ministry of Transport sent back that plan of yours for a Finchley flyover. They say they want an underpass instead.
Turn the plan upside down and send it back.
Righty-ho.
Ah, 2. Well, you've raced me back from Potter's Green. Yes, I've been chatting with that preservation woman.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Livingston, I presume.
Any post, Mildred?
Yes, sir. There's one here marked OHMS.
OHMS. Ah, yes, well, it's just as I thought. It's the seed catalogue from the Orpington Hybrid Marigold Society.
And there's a picture postcard from Sir Gregory.
A picture postcard from Sir Gregory, but he's not on holiday.
No, it's a photograph of that new house of his. Oh, he's a proper swank.
Oh, yes, he's sending those picture postcards to everybody, you know. Notifying his change of address. Well, 2, come on, come through to my office.
All right. Now, let's have a look at that postcard one. Oh, I say, rather an impressive building. Oh, and there's Lady Pitkin standing in the drive with her bulldog.
It's Tudor, you know.
Has it? It does look rather fierce.
The building, too.
Yes.
Yes. Well, here you are. You'd better keep that for your postcard collection.
Oh, thank you very much, one.
Yeah, come to think of it, I've got another postcard for you here.
Goody.
Mrs. Livingston insisted I have it. Wait a minute. There we are.
Oh, I say, this is my lucky day, isn't it? What's this?
Well, it's a picture of that convenience there's all the argument about.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Well, what do you think ought to be done with it?
I'll take it home and stick it in my album.
The convenience, too. The convenience.
Oh, no, that would...
Yes.
Yeah,
well, are we going to have it demolished or aren't we? By the way, how did you get on with the council architect?
Oh, he's very go-ahead. Showed me the new sodium street lamps they've just installed in Potter's Green. I can tell you he made me see things in a different light.
Purple faces and green hands.
Then he showed me plans of the road widening. I think they'll have to demolish that it's standing in the way of progress.
Yeah. Well, from what Mr. Livingston said, it would cause a bit of an uproar to destroy it.
We've got to make a bold decision, draw up a plan of action, and stamp it top priority.
Yes, if you can find the stamp. Well, we haven't used that since we ordered the tulip bulbs for the window box. Oh, well, thank heavens it's Friday afternoon.
But surely we ought to take urgent steps.
Absolutely. Don't want to get caught in the rush hour.
It's only 2:30. You're not leaving?
Certainly am, too. Got an important engagement tonight. The vicar's organising a committee to improve the church roof. And I've agreed to sit on it.
But what about this thing in Potter's Green High Street? I promised we'd do something.
Yes, we said, well, not to worry about it.
Yes, but
no, you do worry. No, don't. No. You carry on. No doubt I'll think of something. Have a nice weekend.
Oh, yes, but... oh, dear, he's gone. Really, he doesn't seem to care. He's not going to do anything about this problem.
Yes, I was on my way to the station, Mr. Schultz, when I passed your firm. I remembered hearing about you and thought you could settle a little problem for us.
Ah, well, you've come to the right place. We at Shift It Incorporated offer a service that's second to none.
Yes, splendid, yes. I understand you specialize in removing buildings from one spot to another.
That's right. You know Dagenham Castle?
Oh, is there a castle at Dagenham?
Not now, no. We removed it stone by stone and set it up in Texas. 115 rooms.
My word, good. Great. Some Texas millionaire bought it, I suppose.
Correct. He wanted a tool shed for his back garden. Then there was Lord Dogsmuir's mansion. We were the firm who moved that.
To America, I suppose?
No. Just a couple of yards to the left. He wasn't getting proper reception on BBC Two.
I see, yes. Well, this job that I have is on a rather smaller scale.
Yes?
Yes, it's a public convenience in Potter's Green High Street.
And you want it moved?
Yes, it's in the way of a development scheme, you know. But if we destroyed it, you see, there might be repercussions.
Sort of chain reaction, huh?
Yes, quite. But, you see, if the whole edifice could be moved to some other spot, well, everybody'd be satisfied. Yes. I heard about your firm from old Bonzo Blessum at the club. You moved his country seat.
Blessum Hall. We shifted it to California in giant crates. A real fast job, that one.
Yes, quite. A bit too fast, yes. If you find Lady Blessum, he'd like to have her back. But to return to this building, I want moved. The sooner it's done, you see, the better.
Oh, sure. We could do it over the weekend. With a small removal like this, we'll be finished by Monday.
Oh, splendid. Well, you know how to find it, don't you? You just drive down the middle of the high street and you can't miss it. Yes. Well, now I must rush. I have a train to catch.
I shall need a few more details.
Well, it's the 4:30 from Victoria, a diesel locomotive, restaurant car.
No. I mean about the job.
Guard's got a thing right. Oh, I see. The job, yes. Well, I tell you what now. If you want any more facts, give my office a ring. There's their number.
Thank you.
There'll be someone there for an hour or so.
Something worrying you, Mr. Lamb? You don't seem to have your mind on what you're doing.
Hey, what makes you say that?
Well, you've just signed 5 sheets of blotting paper and doodled all over them letters I typed.
Oh, dear. Yes, I am worried, Mildred. This Potter's Green business, it's an urgent problem, and Mr. Lennox Brown doesn't seem to care about it. He just went off and told me to carry on.
Oh, you mean he's giving you a free hand? Sort of carte blanche?
Sort of, yes.
Then it's up to you to do something.
By Jove, you're right. It's time for me to tear aside the veil of false modesty and show what I'm made of. I must make a decision, that's what I must do. After all, it won't be the first time. I made one last year.
I remember.
Maybe it was the wrong decision, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, it didn't take them long to scrape all that plum jam off Nelson's column.
No, Mr. Lamb, and they soon got the underground running again.
And it's up to me to sort out this problem. I'll go along to to a demolition contractors and get them to knock this down, this obstruction. I think that's the only answer.
Oh, you come over all masterful, Mr. Lamb.
Oh, have I? Yes, well, one never loses the habit of command, you know. I was once a house leader at Snuffle's holiday camp. Yes, I'll do it immediately. Have the job done over the weekend, and then LB'll just have to accept it. Fait accompli.
Yeah, and it'll be done and finished.
I know just the firm, the O'Haggerty Demolition Company. It was their chaps who tore down our local pub.
Fancy.
The landlord was pretty upset, mind you, but of course it was St. Patrick's night. Right, you look after the office, Mildred. I'll just have time to catch them before they close. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. I really must do a bit of typing. That's enough work for this afternoon. Now, where's me nail varnish? General Assistance Department, this is Mildred Murphin, to whom you are speaking.
This is Schultz of Shifted, Inc.
Do what?
Your Mr. Lennox Brown has just been here. Gave us a little job to do for your department.
Oh, that's nice.
You know all the facts, do you?
Me? Oh, yeah, I've known him for years. Yeah, you can say what you like.
Great. Well, he was in a hurry, so I'd better check the details with you. Who's paying for this job?
Yeah, you're an American, aren't you? Yeah, I used to know an American. Yank, his name was. Do you know him?
I'm afraid not. But about this job, who's paying for it?
Well, if it's for us, you better make the bill out to the General Assistance Department.
Fine, just fine. Now, where do you want us to send the thing?
Oh, yes. Now, Sir Gregory wants all these things sent to him at his home address. Would you send it to Pitkin Towers, Little Grippington, Hertz, please?
Pitkin Towers. Right. Well, so long, and don't forget Shifted Inc., the firm with Go, Go, Go.
Go, go, go? Oh, he's gone. What a funny man. I wonder what he's on about. It's a pity Mr. Lamb wasn't here.
So you see, Mr.
O'Haggerty, sir.
Yes.
Of O'Haggerty's Demolition Company.
Quite, yes. So you see...
Limited.
Of course. So you see...
Branches everywhere.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Now, about this building, I want it demolished rather quickly, if possible, over the weekend.
Oh, it'll be a devil of a job to get the lads out over the weekend, Mr. Lamb. They
dear.
like to go to church, you see, and then on to the pub.
They thirst after righteousness.
You might put it that way, yes.
Yes.
But there's nothing that'll get them to work over the weekend. Nothing.
We'll pay double time.
Except double time. It's the glib tongue you have, Mr. Lamb.
Then you'll do it.
That we will. I'll drink to it. Will you have a drop of the hard stuff with me?
No, thank you, no. Unless you have a little rhubarb wine or some...
No, I'm afraid not. You don't mind if I...
No, do.
Purely medicinal, you understand?
Oh, of course, yes.
I drink it to cure me hangovers. Yes. Good stuff. Death to the cowardly English. Bless them.
Yes, cheers.
Now then, what's this building you want knocking down?
Well, it's how can I describe it? It's a building, you see, and it's in the way of a scheme of ours.
Where and what is it?
Now you're asking me. It's well, that's to say... this is embarrassing. I know I've got a picture postcard of it somewhere in my pocket. There you are.
Let's see. Yes, here's the address underneath here. I shouldn't have any trouble once we get Sean on the bulldozer.
Okay.
I'll drink to that.
Well, I am pleased you can do this job over the weekend.
You leave it to us, Mr. Lamb.
Yes.
I've got all the details on this postcard. I'll drink to that.
Splendid. My word, I can hardly wait to see LB's face when I tell him on Monday. Morning, Mildred.
Morning, Mr. Lamb. Did you have a nice weekend?
Yes, thank you. I took the local scout troop to teach them map reading.
Oh, that's lovely. Where did you go?
I don't actually know. We got lost. Wandered around for hours. Eventually, we had to send up smoke signals for help.
See, what happened?
The policeman came and told us off for lighting a fire in Battersea Park.
Shame.
Well,
morning, tour.
Morning, man. Did you have a pleasant weekend?
Oh, yes, thank you. A bit of excitement at the golf club on Saturday.
Oh, did you try out those new socks?
Yes, very comfortable. But listen, I got a hole in one.
Oh, dear, never any good buying cheap socks. How about the vicar and the church roof?
Well, not too sure about the vicar's judgment, you see. He's proposing a new plan for raising money, the modern way, as he calls it.
And what's that?
Well, he wants to appeal to the gamblers, the bingo people.
Yeah.
Now, his idea is that everyone buys a ticket as they go into church, and whoever's holding the bag when the organ stops keeps the collection.
I'll bring in the tea, sir. Oh, by the way, Mr. Lamb, some Irishman phoned.
Oh, really?
No, O'Haggerty. He said they'd finished that job you wanted doing in a hurry.
Job? Well, what job to?
Let me put it this way, one. The Potter's Green matter has been cleared up.
Oh, my word, you've heard. Have you? Yes, I arranged for the public convenience to be moved over the weekend.
I thought moved? I arranged for it to be knocked down over the weekend.
Oh, well, don't talk nonsense, Stu. I mean, how could it be knocked down when it wasn't there?
Yes,
Well, I checked with this American firm on the way in this morning. There was a message that they'd completed the required move.
But that's impossible. I gave O'Haggerty clear instructions. I left him that postcard Mrs. Livingston gave you. So they'd know the address, you see. Look, it's here in my pocket.
If it's there in your pocket, how could you have given it to him?
What? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I gave them a postcard to show them the place I wanted knocked down. After all, the only other postcard I had was... Oh dear. Oh, I don't feel very well.
Yes, well, I'm not surprised, too.
Here we are, lovely cuppa.
Yes, well, you better make it strong, Mildred. Mr. Lamb has had a demolition gang knock down Sir Gregory's new house.
Oh, he'll never forgive me. I'm finished. Wait till he finds out who did it. I'm doomed.
Yeah, well, steady, too, steady. You can always plead temporary insanity. Even permanent insanity, come to think of it.
You know what he's like.
Yes, well, if you'd left this to me, it wouldn't have happened, would it? You see? No, I had the convenience carefully moved to... Wait a minute, that's a point. I didn't actually tell them where to put it.
Put what?
Oh, the Potter's Green toilets, Mildred. Wait a minute, I remember now. I told this American chap you'd supply any details I might have forgotten.
He'll murder me.
Oh, that American.
Huh?
Well, I didn't tell him where to put any toilet. I only told him where to send the bill. I think.
He was asking about the bill?
Well, that's what I thought. I told him to send it to Sir Gregory's home address.
Get the brandy from the first aid cupboard, will you? We've not only knocked down Sir Gregory's new house, we've had a Victorian public loo put in its place.
He'll go mad. He might even... The mind boggle.
It's all your fault.
It isn't. No, but it's your mind.
Hello, what's this? Can't you keep order in your own office, Lennox Brown?
Sir Gregory. Yes, Sir Gregory. Good morning. Good morning. Sir Gregory.
I'll go and make some tea again.
What's the matter with Lamb? Why is he trying to get under the carpet?
He's checking for dust.
For dust?
Yes. Very conscientious.
Really?
Very conscientious. Mind you, he often makes mistakes when I'm not here, you know. Will make decisions on his own, you know. I imagine you had quite a hectic weekend, Sir Gregory, did you?
No. Very peaceful.
The house all right, was it?
Oh, yes. Magnificent. Yes, last time I saw it, the sun was shining through the gabled windows, making the fine oak panelling glow with an inner life, as it were. Really superb.
Oh,
superb.
thank heavens for that.
That was last Friday morning, of course. Yes, we've been away for the weekend. Shooting, you know. Did I like to shoot, and I'm getting quite accurate.
So, just a moment, Sir Greg. You haven't been home, then, since the weekend?
No. I thought I'd pop in here as I came through town and get my gun license renewed.
Yeah.
And then I'm off home.
Oh, dear. Yes. Are you very attached to your new house, Sir Gregory?
Oh, yes. So close to town, you see. Yes, I expect to find it a great convenience.
Quite so.
It's very spacious, too, you know. Lots of handy little places to put the rolls. Property values going up all the time, you know. Yes, we shall soon see the writing on the wall.
You have to tell him one. I can't stand it.
Excuse me, Sir Gregory. Lady Pitkin's on the phone.
Huh?
She wants to speak to you urgently.
Oh, probably ringing from the new home.
Probably ringing.
She went on ahead, you know. Now, I'll take it in the outer office. Do excuse me, Lady
Yes,
Brown.
we'll excuse...
What are we going to do, one?
That's a good question, too.
What? They've done what?
I think our luck's run out.
Yes. Perhaps we should do the same.
Yes.
Pass me my hat and coat, will you?
There you are. Oh, thank heavens there's a fire escape. After you, one.
Yes. I know a little tea shop where we can lie low while we think out who to blame for it. Come on.
Yes, I feel like a buttered muffin.
Yes.
Muddling through as the men from the Ministry were Richard Murdoch and Derek Guyler. Also featured were Norma Ronald, Ronald Baddeley and John Graham. The programme was written by Johnny Mortimer, Brian Cook and Edward Taylor, and produced by Edward Taylor. Time to meet the men from the Ministry. We present Richard Murdoch and Derek Guyler in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to the men of our government service. In many jobs, people begin full of enthusiasm, but gradually get lazy and bored. Ministry men aren't like that. They're bone idle from the start. Over now to the General Assistance Department, where that eager young executive, Richard Lamb, is trembling with excitement.
One. Oh, I've got marvellous news for you.
Not my knighthood, at last. Well, I mean, it had to come, you know. Sir Derek Lennox Brown. Yeah. That'll look well on my library ticket.
It's not you, one, it's me. I've come up with another invention.
Oh, too, don't get me all excited like that for nothing. Could be extremely harmful.
Oh, sorry, one.
Invention, eh? Well, what is it this time? Something better than your easy-release braces, I hope.
Those braces were nearly a great success. I went down to the patent office and showed them everything.
Yes, I heard. Very embarrassed they were.
This is special one. It'll help our balance of payments.
Well, I doubt it. Still, go on, break it to me gently, too.
You know the government are very worried about all the luxury goods we have to import.
Yes, I know, too. Yes, wines and perfume and so on, yes.
Well, I've invented a British perfume.
Oh, glory.
I boiled some geraniums and filtered the liquid through an old pullover. Then I added a drop of ink to give it colour and some aftershave for smell, and here it is. There. I call it Midnight in Mayfair.
Oh, good grief. Phew. I'd call it Evening in Changing Room.
Don't you see any possibilities for it?
Well, only one. If we keep it here, we'll have the sanitary inspector up again.
Honestly, you're always putting me down. Perhaps when I'm dead and gone, people will realise what I've done.
Don't worry, too. You'll be out of harm's way by then. Oh, get rid of that muck, will you? And stop wasting our time with such harebrained schemes.
It's the balance of payment one.
Two, when Sir Hector told us to concentrate on import-export problems, he didn't want us to mess about inventing things and boiling geraniums.
Well, we'd better come up with something soon, or Sir Hector Gunn will turn ugly.
No turning needed. He's built that way.
He already dislikes us because you made fun of his name.
Yes, well, never again, too. I didn't realize Hector Gunn had no sense of humor. No more gun jokes for me, I can tell you.
Ah, there you are, Lennox Brown.
Oh, good morning, Sir Hector.
I've got some points to raise.
Of course, Sir Hector. Far away.
Lennox Brown. How many more times must I tell you I hate jokes about my name? Hate them, do you hear?
Yes, well, quite accidental, Sir Hector. I mean, I wouldn't insult a man of your caliber. Of your standing. There.
I don't know whether it's insolence or just plain idiocy.
On the carpet.
And what are you doing, Lamb? You seem to be trying to climb into a drawer of your filing cabinet. Not afraid of me, are you?
Yes, no, I'm not, Sir Hector. I was just going through the files.
Why?
Why, yes. I thought you might want to see our export records. There's a summary in here.
Really?
Yes, if you got that in your head, you'd have it in a nutshell.
No, look, remember, both of you, I don't like sacking valuable men, but sacking you would be no problem at all.
Oh, yes. Well, now, perhaps we should start all over again, Sir Hector.
Perhaps we'd better.
Yes.
Now, I'm here to talk about this export business, of course.
Yes.
That planning job I gave you. Have you forgotten about that?
Not yet, Sir Hector. Oh, my word, no. We've been thinking hard. There are lots of ideas, you know, but it's a little too soon for anything definite.
Ah, yes, well, I'll give you something definite.
What's that, Sir Hector?
Raspberries.
Raspberries?
The government have been encouraging our farmers to grow soft fruits. Now we've got a huge crop of raspberries, more than we bargained for, and wherever I go, I get raspberries. The government's had to buy up all these raspberries, and they've been wondering what to do with them.
Do they want us to tell them, Sir Hector?
No, I've already told them.
Oh.
The raspberries must be canned and exported. That's where you come in.
But we've no canning facilities here. We'll do what we can, but we can't can we?
Don't drivel, man. I know you can't can the stuff yourselves. Your job is to find some people who can can.
People who can?
People who can can. Oh. Scott, too long in this office and I start talking like a fool.
Oh.
Now, I want you to find a merchandising firm who'll carry through the whole job, canning, exporting, and mounting a big advertising campaign.
A lot of money for someone, Sir Hector.
Exactly. You've got a fat government contract to bestow, so mind you don't make a mess of it. Further details from my secretary, so get on with it.
More savage than ever today, old gun.
Never mind. He's gone off now.
I heard that. Just watch it, both of you. Just watch it.
Dear me. We'd better find a firm to deal with those raspberries.
We could ask old Fruity Fowler. He knows about these things.
That's a good idea, yes. I say, where's Mildred this morning? She hasn't brought my 11s. In fact, by now it's 11:45.
Have you noticed one? Mildred's in a funny mood these days, always grumbling.
Yes, well, now you mention it, too. She has been rather surly lately. Yes, she has. Well, if she's got a problem, I must try and help her. Yeah, I mean, I'm responsible for the welfare of my staff, you know. Yes.
Tea up. I'm afraid it's a bit cold. I couldn't find the tea cosy.
Oh, thank you, Mildred. I thought you'd forgotten.
Well, you're lucky to get tea, aren't you? Some typists wouldn't do it, you know. Fetching the water from the ladies and boiling it on the gas ring in the cubbyhole, standing on the cold lino and smuggling the sugar up from the canteen in my Yankee.
Have you quite finished, Mildred?
8 times a day I bring tea in here.
Oh, that's not true, Mildred. Sometimes we have cocoa.
Yes, you know, you're not your usual perky self, Mildred. Mr. Lamb said he thought you were, in trouble.
Yes, and Mr. Lennox Brown said he's responsible.
Do what?
Mildred, you see, now, if there's something worrying you, just please tell us.
Is anything wrong in the office?
Is anything right in the office? More like it. For a start, there's a broken window pane just by where I sit.
But I blocked that up with the top-secret file.
Well, what about the light over me desk? I ask you, where else can you find a 10-watt bulb?
Yes, but we did remove the shade to make it brighter.
And who else has a desk with only 3 legs? I have to rest the 4th corner on me knee.
No, you don't. I showed you how to keep it up with 2 waste paper baskets on top of each other.
And that washroom's a disgrace. Every time I turn the tap on, the pipes all shake and the door flies open. A ladies' washroom should have privacy.
I've been looking into it, Mildred.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I tell you, this place is primitive. It's a living scandal. I've just about had enough, so there.
You're right, too. She isn't entirely happy.
And another thing, she spends an awful lot of time on the telephone. I don't know what it's all about.
Hello, this is Mildred Murphy, to whom you are addressing.
Come off it, Mild. You don't need your posh voice. It's your loving boyfriend, Bernard.
Oh, hello, Bernard. I suppose you want to know if I've decided.
You said you'd make up your mind today.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if I should. I mean, is it right for a girl like me to do it?
Of course it is, Mild. I told you on Saturday night. All the girls do it nowadays.
Well, are you sure?
Yeah. Greta's done it, and Karen's done it, and Mavis does it all the time.
Yeah, well, I'm not like the girls down the youth club, Bernard. I think it's a serious step to take. I mean, changing jobs is, well, it's like changing your whole way of life.
A change is what you need, especially when these other people offer more money.
But I felt guilty just going for the interview.
You're crazy. You're wasting the best years of your life in the civil service. Private enterprise. That's where the action is.
Yeah, and it's a smashing firm. Big modern office block, thick carpets in every room, and sexy music in the lift.
So what's keeping you, Mild? Hand in your notice now.
Well, I can't do it now, can I? They're both still out at lunch.
Typical. They leave you in charge while they're out living it up. I suppose old Lennox Brown's still up his club.
Yeah, he says he needs 4 glasses of port to digest his steak. Of course, Mr. Lamb can't afford that. He'd be sitting on the embankment watching the coal barges go by.
Yeah, well, meantime, you carry the can. It's not good enough. The sooner you leave them, the better. Look, I've got to go now, Mild. Make up your mind by tonight, eh? I'll see you then, inside the pally. Ta-ra.
OK, ta-ra, Bernard.
Ah, Miss Murphy.
Oh, Sir Hector. Can I help you?
I'm looking for that awful pair. They should be working at full tilt on this export business. Where are they? It's gone 3:30.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Lennox Brown is doing a survey of British ports.
And Mr. Lamb?
He's looking at our shipping resources.
I never knew an office like it. Have they no sense of priorities? They should be getting on with those raspberries.
Yes, Sir Hector.
You'll have to pull your socks up, all of you. That includes you, Miss Murphy.
Yes, Sir Hector. I'll tell Mr. Lennox Brown you were gunning for him. Oops. I'm sorry, sir. Oh, blimey, if he ever smiled, his face would crack. Oh, I don't know. What a place this is.
Ah, hello, Mildred. Was that Sir Hector I saw disappearing around the corner?
Yeah. He's just been in here carrying on something chronic.
Oh, don't let him get you down. I don't. What did he want?
He was looking, he said, for that awful pear.
Really? Ah, well, I don't know about awful pears, but on Mr. Lamb's desk is a rotten apple. Yeah, it's been there for days. It's all dried up and wrinkled. Never seen anything like it.
Afternoon, one.
Oh, I don't know, though. Perhaps I have. Yeah. By Jove, you know, that extra bottle of wine did me good. Well, come on, Mildred, cheer up. You're sitting there like a wet night in Manchester. And what about some tea?
That's all you think about, isn't it? Cups of tea. You don't think about me sitting here slaving while you're cavorting about enjoying yourself, while I'm stuck here making excuses for you and getting balled up by Sir Hector while you're out noshing and boozing. I'm fed up with it, I am.
Oh, well, Mildred, if you're not happy here, you know what to do.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to hand in my notice. And what's more, I've got a job all lined up.
Really?
Yeah, I'm leaving the civil service and going into private enterprise. I answered an ad in the paper a few weeks ago.
Not the one that said girls wanted for pickling and bottling?
No, Mr. Lamb. I'm going to be a private and personal secretary. So if you'll excuse me, I'll go next door and type out my resignation.
Well, she really means it. This is awful.
Oh, I can hardly believe it. Leaving the civil service? Well, look what she's losing. Her pension, free drying facilities for her galoshes, a thank you letter from the management every 30 years.
And the canteen food, she'll be throwing that up.
Well, too, it's her decision. I shan't try to dissuade her.
Quite right, man.
Come to think of it, you know, I never liked the way she stirred my tea with her comb handle.
No, she didn't always remember to warm the pot. This may be a blessing in disguise.
Yes, well, I'll get on to old Thumbler Grant of personnel. He knows all the girls. He'll send us someone really efficient. We'll see a few changes round here. You mark my words. Two, mind what you're doing with that biscuit. Look, you've got crumbs all inside my sleeve. Oh,
Sorry, it's so cramped here in the map cupboard. Can't we have 11s round your desk like we used to?
Are you mad, too? If this new girl sees us, she'll find us jobs to do.
But, are you going to let a new secretary frighten you? Are you a man or a mouse?
I'm not sure, too, but I want to eat my cheese sandwich in peace. Fancy old Grant sending us a girl who's new to the civil service. She's got no idea. All she thinks about is work.
She'll soon learn, man.
Yes, until she does, I'm spending as much time as possible hiding in this map cupboard.
Sorry to disturb you, gentlemen. Am I interrupting something?
Morning, Susan.
Mr. Lamb and I were just checking the maps.
We thought perhaps you weren't in yet, Susan.
Oh, I've been here since 8 o'clock, sir.
Good. Yes, good. Now, what work have we got today, then?
Oh, I've already done today's work, sir. And in accordance with my Civil Servants Handbook, para 727, I'm now dealing with tomorrow's.
I can't believe it. It's not natural.
But there are some special jobs that need your personal attention. Very odd. Several urgent files had slipped down behind the radiator. Would you believe it?
Oh, sure.
Some of them had even got themselves stuck there with chewing gum. Lucky I found them, wasn't it?
Yes.
I thought you'd want to tackle them straight away. Now, first, there's this Willesden sewage report.
Ah, yes, they've had trouble with their sewage there, yes. Mr. Lamb will drop in next week.
And there's this dry rot problem in the House of Commons.
They've formed a committee to deal with the roof. Mr. Lennox Brown's going to sit on it.
Splendid. Well, that's work dealt with. It's been a very good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're not going, sir, are you?
I have to, I'm afraid. I've got to deal with these race problems.
Oh, the Race Relations Board.
No, my race selections for Newmarket. I'll try and look in again this afternoon if I have a moment.
Just a minute, sir. The most important job's these raspberries. Sir Hector Gunn's been asking what progress you've made.
Glory, yes.
I found a suitable firm to handle the job, and I've arranged for you both to go there this afternoon.
Thank you, Susan.
Your appointment's 3 o'clock, and the firm's called Mann, Tipples and Greaves. If you'll excuse me, sir, I have to nip over to the admin section. I've discovered they've been doing some work that we should do.
Susan, wait.
Don't worry, sir. Leave it all to me. I'll get it all back.
Oh, dear. Did you hear that, Runner? She's looking for work. It's positively obscene.
Oh, good grief, too. What have we let ourselves in for? Oh, why did we let Mildred go?
Heaven knows, man. Dear old Mildred. I wonder what she's doing now.
Would you like a cup of tea, Mr. Blind?
Tea, Mildred? I'd positively loathe it. But you can mix me a dry martini.
Oh, this job isn't half a change from the ministry. Do you know, when my typewriter ribbon wore out, they made me rub me mascara on it to save getting a new one.
My dear child, you can forget tedious typing now. You're my private and personal secretary.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like work somehow. I mean, just booking tables in restaurants for business lunches and holding up your menu for you.
Your job is to keep me happy, my dear child. There'll be other things later.
Ooh.
What is it?
Well, every time you call me your dear child, I get all gills pimples up my spine.
But you have enjoyed your first week here?
Oh, yeah. It's ever so smart and with it.
Oh, yes, indeed. Our entrance hall alone cost £50,000, you know.
Well, it's worth it. All that panelling and fountains, and the blonde lady sitting at that shiny desk, and nothing on it except a single rose in a silver vase.
And the brown suede telephone, of course. Yes, that was my idea, you know.
It's a bit different from the ministry entrance. Old Matthews in his cubbyhole blowing his nose on an old tea towel.
By the way, we may be doing a little job for the government. 2 ministry men are calling this afternoon.
Oh, shall I open the hospitality cabinet?
Oh, no. We don't waste drinks on these inferior beings. No, it's a very simple matter.
Oh, I'll take it, sir. This is Mr. Bland's personal secretary to whom you are addressing to? Yes? Oh, very well. Please show them up. It's the men from Whitehall, sir. They're on the way up.
Ah, good. Well, I'll slip into the inner office. You tell them I'm on the phone to New York. Then I'll make an impressive entrance in a moment or two.
Oh, I'm all of a doodah. Fancy me meeting 2 big government officials. You may enter.
This is Mr. Bland's office. Good gracious.
Oh.
My word, man, doesn't this girl look like Mildred?
Oh, don't be daft, too. It is Mildred.
Of course it is, Mr. Lamb.
Is this fellow Bland in? He's expecting us.
Yes. Mr. Bland will give you a second or two of his time. He's very busy, you know. He's on the phone to America at this very moment, on business.
Really, Mildred? Business with whom?
Frank Sinatra.
And how do you like working here, Mildred, coping with all their silly blunders?
Mr. Lamb, there's no blunders here. Mr. Bland is a super boss. He's efficient and kind, and he's ever so strong.
I must say it's a most impressive office, Mildred. This carpet's so deep I can't see my shoes.
Yes, well, of course, we could have carpets like this in our office if we wanted to. But I always feel one thinks better on bare boards.
Oh, here's Mr. Bland now.
So sorry to keep you waiting, gentlemen. Cigarettes? No? Drinks? No? Then let's get down to business, shall we?
Yes. Well, Mr. Bland, we've come about this fruit to be canned and exported.
We want to send raspberries to the rest of the world.
Yes, well, I've had the details from your secretary, so things can swing into action as soon as you give the okay.
You're sure you can handle the whole business?
Oh, of course. I've devised a most attractive can for the product, curving in at the middle. A sex symbol, of course.
Oh, good gracious, Mr. Bland. We want people to eat these raspberries, not have an affair with them. Well, where's the canning being done?
Oh, all that sort of thing's handled by our subsidiaries, you see. On the wrapper, there'll be the usual bargain offer coupon. Buyers send it in with £1 and get a pair of knickers.
Have we got lots of knickers?
Well, we buy them at Harridge's for 7 and 6. Now, our advertising office is ready to move campaign-wise.
Oh, and what will they use, slogan-wise?
See this can, don't just gasp, open quick, and have a rasp.
Well done, Mr. Bland. I'm sure he should do the job, aren't you, one?
Yes, all right, yes.
And I'm certain it'll be a great success, raspberry-wise.
Man Tipples and Greaves, Mr. Bland's personal and private secretary speaking.
Come off it, Mild. It's only me, Bernard.
Oh, hello. What do you want?
Tomorrow's Friday. It's our night out, isn't it?
Not this week, Bernard.
But I haven't seen you for 2 blooming weeks. You're always out with that smoothie boss of yours.
It's business, Bernard.
Yeah, and I know the kind of business he's giving you.
Don't you be so cheeky. Mr. Bland's been very busy for the last fortnight doing a big export job for the government.
Well, what about tomorrow? I thought we'd get on the old bike and do a ton up the M1. You know, drop in Nat's Caff for a couple of cod burgers and that.
No, Bernard. I have to be at Covent Garden. I'm going to the Barber of Seville.
Can't you get your hair cut another night?
It's an opera. Don't be so ignorant. And after that, Mr. Bland's taking me to the Ivory Tower for a nosh, for dinner.
Yeah, well, you watch out. I know his sort. All good-night drinks and 2 for breakfast.
Bernard, he's a real gent. And so clever. There's never any muddles in this office. Oh, I'll give you a ring next month. Ta-ra. Blooming cheek. Oh, Mr. Bland, you're back from lunch early.
Cross that restaurant off our list, Mildred. My martini was shaken, not stirred.
Oh, very good, Mr. Bland.
When we're alone in the office like this, my dear child, there's no need to call me Mr. Bland. My name's Gerald.
Oh, fancy. My auntie had a tomcat called Gerald. That's funny. He was always
Quite so. Not much work in the office this afternoon, so let's you and I have a little drinky, hmm?
Oh, thank you very much.
Have you tried this tea? Lie down, sit down and relax.
Oh, yeah, all right.
You seem rather nervous, my dear child. Still, a tiny double gin should settle that.
Yeah, mind you, lad, am I tights?
Well, let's get to know each other better,
Mr.
shall we?
Bland,
Now then, Mildred.
Excuse me, Mr. Blind.
Campbell, how dare you burst in here when I'm in conference? I left orders I wasn't to be disturbed.
Oh, sorry, sir. I thought it was just the two of you.
Yes, well, my secretary was going to take down a few things for me.
It's these cans, sir, for that government export order.
Don't ramble, Campbell. Get them sent off at once.
Well, they've already gone, sir. But I just wondered why you wanted to export empty cans.
What do you mean, empty? Oh, they're full of raspberries.
No, sir. I've just had the cargo tallies. All the cans have been sealed and sent off empty. Nobody told the factory about the raspberries.
Oh, blimey.
Empty cans. Oh, I can't bear it. They've bungled it.
It's you, sir. You'll have to carry the can.
Oh, shut up, Campbell. This is no time for jokes. What am I going to do? Help me, somebody.
It's all that fuss about the labels and the adverts. That's why you forgot about the raspberries.
Oh, go away, Miss Murphy. Don't you care about my reputation? I'll lose my chairmanship of the Guild of Smooth Operators. Campbell, arrange a flight to my villa in the Bahamas. I'll be away for a year. Look, quickly, man.
Well, I never. Mr. Lamb and Mr. Lennox Brown dropped a few clangers in their time, but they never behaved like this. Bahamas, indeed. That's a coward's way out.
Yes, and I'm a coward.
Oh, I've never been so disgusted in all me natural. I'm off, and I won't be back.
Not often we're still in the office at 6 o'clock, Warren.
No, still, it was worth it. Yes, we just hear the news and then we'll amble up to my club for a drink.
I say you're inviting me to your club?
Well, why not too, eh? Why not? This export triumph calls for a celebration. Oh, good gracious, what's this? The return of the prodigal?
Hello, Mr. Lennox Brown. Mr. Lamb.
Mildred, this is a pleasant surprise.
It's very good of you to spare a moment from the swinging scene, you know, to visit old friends.
I left Man, Tipples and Greaves this afternoon, sir.
Dear me. Still, plenty more jobs on Easy Street, eh?
Sir, I've got some awful news for you.
You mean your friend and ex-employer, old Smoothie Pants, has made a monumental blunder?
Oh, how did you know?
We usually have a few feelers out, Mildred.
Yeah, and so did he. But don't you see, they'll blame you for all those empty tins being exported.
Yes, we did foresee that possibility, Mildred, and we made, certain arrangements. Oh, switch the radio on, too, will you?
Yes.
We missed the news.
Right.
Here is the news read by John Curl.
Just in time.
A new triumph for British trade. It was announced today that big orders are pouring in from abroad for Britain's latest export, canned London air. Ministry spokesman Derek Lennox Brown told reporters today that it was an idea he had long cherished. He said, "This health-giving air is full of historical associations and intriguing odours. It will be a boon for foreigners who cannot afford the fare to Britain." There are plans to follow up with cans of hot air from the House of Commons. There were remarkable scenes at London Airport today when London business executive Mr. Gerald Thackeray Bland was found running amok on the runways. He was forcibly restrained from mounting the tail of a transatlantic jet, shouting, "This is the end."
Switch it off, too, will you?
Oh, it's a blooming miracle. I don't know what to say.
Well, don't say anything, Mildred. Just come and join us for a drink at my club. We have a mixed bar now, you know.
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, what a nana I've been. When I look at the dear old office, same as ever, biscuits on the desk, carpet slippers warming on the radiator, I just envy the girl who took my place.
Susan? Oh, she's left, Mildred.
Yes, after working with us, she became so efficient there was no holding her.
So it just happens that the post here is vacant.
You don't mean... Oh, could I come back, Mr. Lennox Brown?
Well, it might be arranged, Mildred. 2. Ring personnel and tell them the vacancy's filled.
Oh, how marvellous. How can I ever thank you?
Just remember, always to warm the pot.
Oh, I will, yes. Here, I've just thought of something. You're still stuck with all them raspberries.
No, we've had them crushed and made into wine by a firm up north. It'll help reduce our imports of foreign liquor.
We have a sample here. It's called Burgundy-type raspberry wine, Chateau Wolverhampton, 1970. Would you care to try a drop?
Come on, Milton, have a little drop.
Thank
It'll do you
you.
good. You'll enjoy it. It'll bring all those real
Muddling through as the men from the Ministry were Richard Murdoch and Derek Guyler. Also featured were Norma Ronald, John Graham, Gordon Clyde, and Joe Manning Wilson. The programme was written by Edward Taylor and John Graham and produced by Edward Taylor.